Okay, fine. What about others? Okay, so I have shared a few things like a day before yesterday. I mean, about express routing, right? Is it day before yesterday? No, I think 2 days back. Oh my God. Okay, so do you guys like downloaded this one and finished your work? Like how you can do the routes and how you can do the middlewares and how you can do the controllers. Did you guys understood like what we can do here? I think you guys are done. So I'm just going with the further concept today. So as I mentioned like earlier in my session, like app.js is the starting point for your every execution of a Node.js. From there, you need to go with the global middlewares. I mean, it is like this global middlewares having the next tick. So whenever the things are done, then it will directly go for the further functions execution or the middlewares execution, or directly the controller will call. So the local middlewares are the things like you can use these local middlewares to validate your requests and all, and then it will go to the routing layer. If you go to the routes folder, there I have something like admin routes or books routes or user routes. So I wrote something like a user route, like a get user list and create user list and all. So by the time you will go to the user controller, and from there you will get to the user list. And from here, if you observe here, right, we are writing our code like sending a static data from our user list, right? But it is not good. Like we need to connect to the database and we need to bring the data from the database itself. Okay, so guys, just try to install a pg admin in your machines. I mean, there's a like I told you, I think I remember last time, you need to insert a pg admin in your systems. Okay, let me share that one. Okay, this is the one. If you just just a minute. Let me delete this one as well. Okay, I don't need this one. Yes. Okay, fine. So if you are using a Windows machines and directly if you install a PG admin, right? Let me go to here and I'll put something like a download PG admin. Okay. So whenever you install PG admins, it will come here. So you can go with the Windows operating system here. Basically, if you are Windows operating system, you can directly download. So the latest release was on a June 6th. I mean, today itself they got released version 8.8. But yeah, of course, don't go with the very new branded versions. Instead of that, just go with the um, previous versions. Like May 30 it was there, 8.7. You can just download that and you can directly install that one. There is no much hard here to install a pg admin. Just go with and just google it and how to see the documentation and just click on next. By the time when you are installing, right, it will ask you to enter the username and the password. Always remember that username and password. You need to save that username and password in your machines. I mean, to like somewhere, just keep that one. So I have installed this long back actually. If you see here, right, about PGAdmin 4, I have version with the 8.2. 8.2 in the sense when it was released, 8.2 around May, after May 8.2 in the sense before May 2nd. I mean, it's like last month or before last month, because of our one project, I have installed this PGAdmin. So definitely you guys needs to try this one. First of all, install this PGAdmin. As I mentioned, like we can connect to our database in a multiple ways, either by using a SQL database, or by using a NoSQL database, or by using a REST endpoints. Okay, these are the three ways to connect to the databases, different databases. We will go with the one by one example. We'll go with the one by one example. Okay, so when you install in your machines, so there is a section called edit. As I mentioned, you like first time when you are installing it, right, it will ask you the username and password. If you are not mentioning anything, Postgres is the default username and the password will come here. Now, when you see this database, right click on that, create database. This is how you can create a new database, brand new database here. Okay. So first of all, let me do one thing. First of all, I will go here. Just a minute. Okay, this is what our node training folder. Okay, here I have some few of the things are there, like node express something blah 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 are there. So basically what I will do, I will just create one folder. Okay, just remember these steps, you need to follow the same way. So I will write something like a node underscore db underscore node demo. Let's say there is something called a node demo. Okay, this is what I have in my mind, nothing much. So when I go to here, I don't want to go with all the existing stuff and disturb these things. Just keep it as it is. We will come back here. Okay, we will come back to this steps. Automatically controller layer is done. Again, we need to write a service layer and the DB layer. Okay, first of all, understand what is the DB layer is, how you can connect to the DB layer. Then we will talk about the service layer and write on some functions and services, and that services will connect to the database. And this is all the things we will do. First of all, I want to create a brand new project here by using a but to connect to the database. Okay, I will go to the open folder here. I will check the node demo folder. Okay, so this is a brand new folder. Okay, please write down the steps if you are not aware of, or how many of you are aware of basically. Just can you guys reply like who are aware of this connection to the database and all? At least you can chat here. Guys, you there?
No, Balu, we don't know in Node.js actually.
Not just you, right? Veera answered. That's good. What about Divyansh, Sandeep, Rakesh? At least chat here. I don't know. Sandeep also don't know. Okay, fine. At least two people are replied out of four, so that's fine. I will go ahead. So basically, what I will do, I will go to the terminal here. Okay, it will open the new terminal. Okay, just write down the steps properly in your. Uh, Let me do one thing. Then. If that is the case, we will do write it notes here. Okay, then it is better. Everyone will see it. Okay, connection to the DB. Okay, the connection to the DB is here, right? Basically, the connection to the DB have a multiple steps here. Okay, okay. First one, connect to PostgreSQL. What is this connection to PostgreSQL means? Okay, now basically what you need to do. This is a SQL database. Okay, here you need to follow the few steps. The first one is install pgadmin. Okay, so how you can install pgadmin by using this link from this one. Just go here and just click on this one, or directly you can click on this one. It will install in your directly download button also there. Okay, so this is installation part. Okay, that is the very first part you need to do. And then next part is something like okay, create a okay, wait. While installing, it will asks you to enter the username and password. Okay, make sure you remember this. Okay, is what if I forget my username and password? If you have admin credentials, then you can directly see those things. If you don't have admin credentials in your machine or in your office machines or somewhere, then definitely you need to uninstall one more time and again install that. That's fine. It will again with the new username and password you can go in. Next one. So create a folder here. First of all, create a folder. Okay, open in VS Code. Okay, you open it. These are the only steps we did till now. Fine. Now first of all, initialize your what it is called node.js project. So npm init. What is that? I forget my command. What is that command? npm init or node init? Okay, create a folder, go to terminal, npm init. Fine. So npm init. Okay, so it will ask you few questions. Okay, okay. Now you need to enter the package name and blah 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 and all. Okay, I will go with the node demo. Version is fine, description is fine, entry point is index.js. Okay, test command is fine, and git repository I don't have. Okay, other I don't have anything, no license, nothing. Okay, now if you observe here, it is this. Okay, now just type a yes, so it will create one package.json file. This is the major one you need here. Okay, after that, when you want to create or run your code, basically you remember that one we have added some script called script inside that node space index.js, or you can put it something like admin.js. Anything is fine. Okay, for now I will go with the index.js. Okay, index.js, that's fine. Okay, now you don't have index.js, so create here and create an index.js here. Okay, fine. These are the only two steps I'm mentioning here. uh, use use npm init for scaffolding the node project. Okay, first of all you need to write that, I mean, for scaffolding the new node project. After that, what you need to do, create an index.js file. Okay, fine. Now remember one thing, when you are doing a PostgreSQL connection, right? So there are two things. The first thing you need to understood is a client, and second one you need to understand is a pool. Okay, first of all, client means what? This will connect to DB with only one connection. If you want to connect only one client, then definitely you need to use a client method. This will connect to DB with multiple clients. Multiple clients in the sense at a time you can basically in a real time we will use a pools and usually if you are writing a single client, right, then definitely there is only one connection will happen. But if you are connecting with a pool, the name itself indicates it's a pool. That means multiple people can connect at a time by using this pool thing. Okay. Now you downloaded this one. Okay. The installation is done. Added username and password. I remember that username and password. Okay. I'm mentioning one more thing. If you are not entered any username or password, then the default username and password is postgres. This is the default. Okay, and default schema is, if you go here, right, you can see the default schema is a database is under the Postgres is the default schema. Okay, postgres. Okay, just remember these things. If you are not mentioning your username or password, the default it will take a Postgres. And similarly, if you are not entering any schema name, then definitely it will take a Postgres as a schema name. Okay, now okay, you created a folder, opened it in VS Code, and by using npm init you have scaffolded your project and index.js was created, and you need to connections. Okay, connections are two types. Oh, sorry. Connections are two types. Okay, what are those two types? One is a client connection, next one is a pool connection. Okay, now okay, okay, now client connection means only one connection you can connect, and if you want to use a multiple connections, then you can use a pool connection. Basically, if your application is a very big application and if you want to do some large number of operations, like I mean to say like I can say like if it is a financial related application or finance domain, or if it is a healthcare domain, these kind of domains, right, you will do a lot of transactions, right? By that time definitely you need to go with the pool. Basically what pool will do, it will connect multiple users at a time and can do multiple transactions at a time. See, I'm not going with each and every step in the databases side. Why? Because you I hope you guys are already having some work experience, so that's the reason I thought like you know what is a crude operations, right? I mean to select DDL commands, DML commands. Do you want me to go with the each and everything? Better do one thing. If you have some time, go to W3 schools and PostgreSQL. Go to PostgreSQL tutorial. This is sufficient for you guys. Like it clearly explain like what is introduction and installation get started. PG admin for create table, insert into fetch data, add column. See, these are all the stuff. Okay, these are more than enough for you. Once if you install here and if you start practicing the things, then it is fine. You don't need to worry about other things. I mean, this is more than enough. I mean, just like create table, insert, add table, update table, and the select queries. Okay, you need to know the joins, and this is sufficient for you guys to learn and start your simple project. And okay, okay, so how we can connect to the client? First one, connection for a single client. Okay, how we can further do the single connection client? So first of all, I will go here and what insert, and let's say there is a okay one box I have created here. Okay, we will do one thing. So whenever you write index.js, right? First of all, I will go with a single connection, and then I will go with the multiple connections. Okay. So remember one thing. I told you. You remember last time? If you have any sensitive information, right? Definitely you should not save it inside your particular files and folders. Instead of that, you need to create one file that is called a .env file. Okay. Oops. I'm sorry. .env file. You need to create .env file, and inside that env file, you need to mention the parameters whatever you want to use. Okay, but whenever you create inside any dot, see basically in your real time what will happen, right? Development.env, local.env, qa.env, pre-production.env, production.env. There are multiple files you can see here, but I'm going with only my code, so that is the reason I just created .env. You can give us some meaningful name like development.env, whatever it is. .env is the extension, that's it. Okay, now if you go for a package.json, right, inside the package.json you see that there are no dependencies or the dev dependencies. Okay, so first of all I will go with one simple what it is called package here. Okay, so if you want to run the packages, I mean to select environmental file, bring the data and all, you need to install one package called .env folder. I mean .env package. If you go to .env package, right, it will clearly mention you run environmental, okay, blah 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 blah. .env is a zero dependency module that loads environmental variables from a .env file to process.env. Storing configuration in the environment separate from the code is based the 12-factor app methodology. See, if you observe properly, .env will do what it will do. It will bring all the data from .env file and it will put it inside the process.env variables. Now you can utilize that process.env variables. So that is the reason, first of all, what I will do, I will simply do npm I dot env, that's it. Okay, dot environmental variable I created, I mean I installed here. So whenever you do this one, right, see, you can see that was installed and dependencies .env came here. Clear? Okay, now whenever the .env is created, now what you need to do, go to the env file, the .env file. Here you need to mention all your data, something like, guys, are you able to see my screen? Hello? Okay. The VS Code part you are seeing, right, Sandeep?
Yeah, yeah, your screen is visible.
Great. So first of all, I will give the username. The user is a Postgres. Okay, this is what the user when I created my PostgreSQL, and at that time the date the password I have given. I remember the password. The password is secret at the rate of 123. This is what I have used long back. So by the time I have wrote it somewhere and saved these details. And you didn't mention the host. The host is nothing but a local host from where we are using to connect the local host. In your real-time project, the host is not a local host. This is the connection string. For example, those people installed this PostgreSQL in AWS, right? So they will give you one host link. So you need to paste that host link here, and they will provide, the DevOps people will provide the username, password, etc. Blah blah blah. Whatever you need, everything they will provide. Okay, host, and let's say whatever we have. Okay, the main part is you need to know what is a database, and the next one is a port number. Okay, while installing the port number, I remember my default port number is 5432, so I went with that. But the database name, I don't have any database for now because by default the Postgre database is there. I don't want to pollute this one because later something happened. My company people can track these ones, so that is the reason I don't want to disturb this existing one. Instead of that, I will create a new database. Go to create, go to database, that's it. You can add your simple anything, something like a node demo db. This is what my name is, node demo db, that's it. Okay, so you don't need to give any definition, securities and advanced SQL. No, nothing is required. Okay, this is by default it is a SQL will come here. You see, this is what we are doing in our application, like create database node demo db with honor is a postgres, encoding is a utf8, local provider is a libc, and connection limit is a -1, is template equals to false, that's it. Okay, once you everything is done, just click on save button, that's it. It will create a node demo db, right? So this is how you will create the database. Inside the database, first of all, if you want to fetch the data or connection to the database and everything, you are not aware of it, right? So how we can do that one? I will just give the name node underscore demo underscore db. This is what my database. See, node underscore demo underscore db. Okay, db is in a capital letter, so I'll follow strict notations like db and node underscore demo underscore db. So save it here inside the environment variables. Whenever you want those, you can use it here. I mean to select wherever you want to connect to the PostgreSQL, then you can utilize those things inside the index structures. But remember one thing, if you want to connect with the PostgreSQL, you need to have another package. That package name is something like a PG. PG is your package, PostgreSQL. So here, if you go here, right, just a minute. If you go here, It will show like non-blocking PostgreSQL client for Node.js, pure JavaScript, and optional native libraries PQ bindings. Okay, so only the thing is you need to run this command npm install pg. Okay, that's a PostgreSQL. If you want to go for a documentation, please go ahead and try to learn like how we can connect, and we can enhance more your skills, like connect to the database and create some tables and get the data, blah blah blah. You do everything whatever you want, but most of the times only the thing is that that part database administrator will take care of. And once that was hosted inside any aws or any kind of cloud, then people will devops people will give you the connection details and all. Only the thing you need to know is go to .env file and just mention all the data here. So first of all, I will install this PostgreSQL client. PG is a client. Remember the PostgreSQL is the client. Okay. So once if I install that one, under the dependencies, you see this .env. Along with that, you can select PG also. The current node package, I mean the current PG package is a version 8.12.0. So you can see that one here. Then, I'm sorry. Okay, this one install now. Great. Now go to your what index.js file. So there I mentioned, right, you remember there are two kind of connections are there: connections for a single client and connections for a pools as well. Okay, connection for a pool. So you need to learn these two stuff, because in real time most of the people are using only these two probabilities are there. I mean, most of the people use pools only, but single client connection is used in some cases. So that is the reason I suggest you to go and understand what is a single connection as well. Okay. Now, what you need to do is simply you can go for cons, let's say. Okay, first of all, you need to have another thing called a path is one of the package you need to use. Okay, only three packages, remember I told you: .env, and next one is a path. Okay, this path is and pg. These three you need to know. Like path is exact match. See, if you hear node.js path module, of course you can use this node.js path module as a what it is called, only for this project, or you can put it as a dev dependency also, that is fine. Okay, so I installed npm my path. So what will happen here, let's see. Now if I go here, npm install path. Okay, you I will tell you why we need this path and all. If you go for a path installation, right, go to the package. So hardly we install three packages. One is a .env, next one is a path, and next one is a postgre. .env is the package which we use to bring the values from the env file. And next one we have a path for path package. Path package will gives you the current path for the particular file. And the next one is a pg is a PostgreSQL. Okay, now let's say I will do one thing like const path equals to something like a require path. I think you remember all this stuff, right? Like we are using a require module to bring that is a common JS module require. So which is helps you to bring the do the importing and exporting from one place to another place. Okay, now what you need to do is just use a require of. Okay, so .env is your package. Okay, .config is one of the method. Okay, remember, first of all you need to configure the .env, then you need to bring the particular file path. So basically .config method is always takes one object as an input. Okay, inside this object lot of parameters are there, but always you need to remember two parameters. First one is a override. Okay, override in the sense, if there are any already env files are there, then we you need to override those things. So you need to make it as a true. So why this override? See, basically your application will run in a local box, and then dev box, and then qa box, and then pre-production box and production box. So in a different environments, if you go, right, so basically what node.js will do, there is something called a cache. By that cache, what will happen, like whatever the local connection variables are there, they will keep on staying in the node.js server. So now what we need to do, we need to override those things with the different node. If it is go for a dev environment, dev keys, you should read the dev env file. If you go for a pre-production environment, you need to read a preprod.env. So that is the reason you need to override. So you always mention that override equals to true. And from which path you need to take, you need to use a path key pair value. So path dot join is a one of the method. Inside the join, you need to take a two parameters. What are the two parameters? Remember, there is a underscore underscore dir name. It will give the current directory path. Basically, in a Node.js also you have this path and all by default. So underscore underscore dir, that will give go up to this path. Like 17 dot node underscore training slash node demo is there, right? Up to there you can bring that. And then what you need to do, just mention the file name. If I'm using a dev.env, you need to mention dev.env. If you are mentioning something like prod.env, you need to mention prod.env, something like that. Dynamically it will work. Okay. Usually what we will do, we will just based on the environmental variables, we will give the environmental variable file name as well. So that is the reason you need to just mention two variables. One is a underscore underscore dir name dot env. Okay. Up to here, what will happen? Like only the dot env connection was done. I mean to say like from the index.js, you can go and bring the .env files like user, password, host, database, port, all these data. You can read it from the index.js. That is what we did here. Now, there is something you remember I told like for postgre connection we need to use something called a pg is my node package. Okay, when you bring the pg package, right, so it will return some value. Okay, so see, require pg in the sense that it will always return a lot of modules, but out of all those modules we need only one thing called a client. Okay, what client module will do, client module will connect your single connection. I told you just a minute back, right? So for a single client, you need to use a client, and for a multiple clients, you need to use a pool. That's it. So for a single connection, we are using a client. So I will go here and I will write down our code like for a client connection. Okay, now this part is done. Now what you need to do, first you need to connect to the database. Okay, how you can connect to the database? So I can take one variable called a client. Of course, this client is different, that client is different. If you observe that one, that capital C is there. Okay, but here we have only small c. You don't need to put a name as a client. Client connect, something like this. You can put any name, that is fine. For your convenience purpose, I'm just putting something like a client. Okay, and here what you need to do, you need to create one object for the particular client. Okay, so this object, I mean to say like a new client will take some parameters just like as an object format. Inside the object format, you need to mention few of the stuff. See, whenever you are creating a PostgreSQL client, it will ask or it will search for multiple parameters. One is a user, next one is a host, next one is a password, next one is a port, next one is a database. Port, and next one is a database. Okay, these are the things you need to mention when you want to connect to the PostgreSQL. Okay, what is a username? Basically, username is already mentioned in the env file with a variable name called a user. That is what PostgreSQL is, right? So now what you can do, process.env. This is what we read about the env file, right? .env. So it will bring all the env files and keep it inside the variable called a process.env dot user. That's it. Similarly, what you need to do, process.env.user is there, right? Similarly, if you want to mention the host name, just go to the env. What is the host? I have mentioned something like a host host. So copy that one, paste it here. Similarly, if you want to go for a password, just go with here, 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 and come to the password. Password, we have given capital PASSWORD. Just mention here. And for port, we have mentioned something like a port. And for the database, we have mentioned something like a DATABASC capital letters. Like if you come here, right, you can see all this stuff here. Now my database connection is up to the database node underscore demo underscore DB. That is what I want to connect. That's it. Now you have created a variable to connect to the database, but you have not connected yet. How you can connect? By using something called a client dot connect is my method. Whenever you are using a client dot connect, it will connect to the database, right? So you really don't know whether you are successfully connected or not. Okay, for the pool you can write a callback, and but here what you need to do, you need to just write down some simple query. Okay, so before you are writing that query and see whether it is a connected or not, okay, so what I will do, I will just do npm run start. Don't worry, whenever you are running npm run start, it will go to the package.log.json. Sorry, package.json. Here it will go for scripts like start script. Node index.js is my file, so it will go to the index.js. Here it will go. What is that? I don't need this. Okay, it will go to the path. It will bring the path module and it will connect to the .env and bring all the details to it, and it will bring it here. That's it. Nothing much. Okay, so now what I am trying to do is I will just show you like what is a client variable is the console.log of client. That's it. Let's say if I run this one, what will happen here? it is trying to connect to the database. See, this is all the client connection we got it from. See, this is a client. So connection parameters, user name, database, port, host, everything. Even a part of those, whatever there are some other additional parameters also got added. The username and the database name you can see, port, host, and all, and everything like whatever the methods we are supporting, everything we can see it here. Okay, there is something called a query method is there, so we can execute that query method to see that one. Okay, so first of all, I will just comment out for this for a time being now. First of all, let's say I will go to my what it is called, my postgre connection here, node demo db. See, remember one thing, whenever you want to create any table inside the PostgreSQL admin or PG admin, now you need to go for a schema section. Inside the schema section, under the public, you can see there are lot of options. Out of all those, you can see the tables. Okay, I'm not talking much about the database stuff here because I assume that at least you have some idea on the database, like how the schemas and what are the sequences, what are the procedures, operators, functions. There are complete PLSQL. If you are having idea, right, you must at least aware of those stuff. But for now, I'm only going with the table stuff. So just go to table here, create a table, and I'm writing some table here. Okay, so how we can create a table? There are a lot of ways. Okay, either you can open. See here, you can directly by using interface you can create that one, or else yes. Okay, or else what you can do, click on right click here, query tool is there. Whenever you click on a query tool, it will ask you to create some table here. Okay, there are lot of ways, but these are the only two best ways. Like write a query and execute that one and see whether it is executing or not. So first of all, what I will do, I will go to my PostgreSQL create table option. Okay, so when there you can see like a table cars are their brand, model, year, blah blah blah, and all that, right? So I will just copy this particular what it is called, that create table option. I mean query here, and I will paste it here. See, create a table. Instead of cars, I will use something like a users. Okay, inside the users, I have something like a ID. I want a ID. Okay, and name I wanted something like a user underscore name I want, and something like a, let's say, phone number is there. Phone, sorry, phone is there. Okay, now ID is not a varchar. It must be something like an integer value, right? So I have given something like an int data type, and username is a varchar, and phone number is an integer data type. That's it. Nothing much. I'm just creating only three fields here. That means three columns. See, ID is a predefined keyword. If you want to use that, use that. Otherwise, you can use a user underscore ID also. Okay, you can add the constraints. Constraint in the sense, you can add as a primary key. See, all if you go to this notes, right, it will show you like how we can add the constraints, like whether it is a primary key or a foreign key and everything. You can add it here. So just go into deep by I mean, if you have some time here, just read about the PostgreSQL, please. So I just selected this part and click on a run button, execute script. Then it will query run successfully. That means create table is done. Now my table name is a user set. So basically, if you are aware of that one, so selected statement is we will write select star from users. Okay, this is what we will do. Just select this part and click on run here. So currently we don't have anything: user ID, username, and the phone. Only these we have only three fields. Okay. Now how you can insert some data? Okay. For insertion data, again I will go to the PostgreSQL what WT schools for this single statement. I'll just take this one. Okay, I will copy paste here, and I will just try to change this one. I want to insert a table inside the users table. Okay, and my first parameter or first column is a user ID, and the next one is a user underscore name, and then next one is a phone number is my third column. Okay, okay, come here. So for example, I have something like one is my ID, and Balu is my username, and let's say phone number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. Okay, let's say. Okay, similarly I have another insert statement. Basically I want to go with the multiple insert statements at a time. So user ID is a 2. Somebody asked me any questions. So user ID is a 2, and something like Ramesh, something like a phone number is like 2341 blah 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 blah, something like this. Okay, I have given some integer value, whatever it is. And again, the third one I want to give it as a Suresh, let's say Suresh, and user ID is something like a 3. Okay, and I'm not adding these constraints like a first primary key is foreign key and all. Just you go ahead and try with this. Okay, when I select all these three statements and I click on execute script, then immediately integer out of range. Okay, fine. 1 2 3 4 5 6, let's say, and only six. 1, 2, 3, 4, first is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now let's see whether it will work or not. Okay, now I have inserted. So inserted query written successfully, done. Now if I go for select star from users, so it is returning three rows. One is a Balu, next one is a Ramesh is the user, next one Suresh is the user. Okay, up to here we are good. Like we have currently we have a table and everything is fine. Now what we need to do, first of all, copy this statement. I mean, select a star from, make sure you are writing some good coding practices while you are writing any SQL statements, right? Whatever the predefined keywords are there, just try to make it as a capital letters. Now come back to here. So client.connect is done, that means connection is done. Okay, now we want to fetch the data. If you want to fetch the data, you need to have a one method called a client.query method. Okay, when you're using a query method, definitely it will take two parameters. The first parameter must be the query from where you are getting, or from what the data you want to fetch. And second one is obviously the callback. You remember when we are discussing about the callbacks, I told that in a Node.js, every callback is called as a error first callback. So always you need to handle the error first, and then response is a second one parameter. Okay, now just go here and I mean to say, like, go here and check, like, if there is an error. Okay, simply what you can do, simply put a console.log, just mention like there is an error with the database, and that's it. Okay, mention that if you want to display the error, you can display that error as well. Okay, so here if there is an error condition, or else what you can do, you can simply do something like this. Okay, so console.log, and whatever the response you get it here, right? So that response always contains something called a rows. Okay, dot rows is the uh, see, a response is always an object. Inside the object, dot rows is the one where you will get all your records in. Okay, I will show you, like, if you have any questions, definitely we will see like what is the response we are getting and how the rows can be extracted from there. So after everything is done, definitely you need to end the connection. Otherwise this connection is alive for every time. I mean, it is like forever. So if somebody wants to use that same connection, they cannot use that one. So that is the reason what we suggested is definitely go and open the connection and close the connection. So dot connect is a method used to open your connection. Dot end is a method which is used to close your connection. That's it. So now what we have did, like, we have connected to the client, and we are querying some data and displaying the data, and obviously we are closing the connection as well. Once it comes to the response.rows, that means everything comes under into the node control. Now node can pass these values to somewhere to the controllers, or from there people called handlers, and everything will happen from here. Okay, now let's see. If I run npm run start, probably what I'm expecting is it should go there to the select start from users, and then it should bring all the data. See, just a minute, guys. One second. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, able to access this one. Okay, great. We can talk later. Now, see, if you observe this one, the array of objects we received here. You remember when we are talking about reduce or map or filter? By that time, we see this kind of object. Even in the last session, we have sent this kind of data, right, from the postman. You remember, like, I used the postman. By that time, you saw that records in an array format, I mean array of objects format, right? This is how you will bring the data from the SQL. It is not only the PostgreSQL, even you can try with the MySQL and connect with the MySQL, install the MySQL client in your machine and the MySQL server, create one simple database. That database name can be anything, like a node underscore demo something, blah blah blah. And inside that, you just create one table and write insert three rows, and just select star from users. That's it. It will bring you all the data. The similar kind of data, instead of the tabular format, you should supposed to see here. How many of you are really didn't understood what is this? Please do let me know. Okay, so this is how we have connected to for the single client. After that, okay, before I'm going to these steps, okay, you need to follow few of the steps. Okay, what are the steps are, like, install pg by using the below command. Okay, what is that? By using I below stable, by using the command npm i npm I pg. Okay, similarly what you need to do, install dot env by using the command npm I dot env. That's it. Okay. What else we have installed? Like install path package by using the command npm I path. That's it. Okay. So after you installed everything, you need to do few more steps. Create a file with the name dot env and paste the below contents. Okay, what are those contents? You can see something like this. .env. That's it. Copy here and paste it here. Okay. And then what you need to do? Create a file name with index.js. Okay. This comes under into this part. Okay. Create a file name with index.js. This is all. Okay. And what else we did? Did we forget anything? Okay. Go to package dot go to package.json and add the script as below. What is that script? Go to the package.json, start script node index.js. That's it. Okay, index.js. This is what you need to do in your script tag. After that, create a file name env file and then create add these things. But before that, what you need to do, you need to do one more thing. Okay, so open pgadmin and create a database with the name node underscore demo. This is the one, right? Node underscore demo underscore db. This is what we have given. Okay. After that, what we did, create a table under schemas of under public. Sorry, just a minute. Where it is? Under the schemas, under the public, under the tables. Create a table schemas public tables. Okay, so this is how you need to create a table. Okay, insert some test records. Okay, how we can do that? For that, I'm just pasting this you know how to create a schema, right? I don't want to write all the things. Instead of that, you can just create a table and insert some records here. This is how you can do this one. Okay, now what you need to do, go to the pg and install npm ig and .env and path and go and add the script, create a file name with a .env below, and then just to go ahead and try to add this piece of code under index.js. That's it. Done. So this is all you can do by for a client, single client. But how you can do that for a pool connection? Okay, we will change these things into the pool connection. We will see like how we can connect to the pool connection. Okay, so in the pool connection, what you need to do, just go to the index.js. Nothing, env file and package.json won't change anything. But instead of having all this stuff, we will remove this stuff. Okay, now first of all, go here and you need a path. Okay, that is fine. And then override equals to true and the path equals to path underscore join. This is all fine. Instead of the client, you need to use something called a pool. Okay, pool. Instead of a client, we are using a pool from the pg. So you just create an object with a pool and give it name something like a pool. I mean to say, like, you can give any name like pool underscore connection underscore DB or anything is fine. Okay. When you connect to the pool, again, it will take few of the parameters. One is a user, next one is a host, and then password, and then the port, and then the database, whatever the database you want to mention, that database also it will connect from here. Okay. Once everything is done, now what you need to do, see, the connection for the database in a real-time examples. If you are writing in a real-time application, then definitely what you need to do, you need to write one immediate invoke function expression. You guys, I hope you guys are aware of IIFE, immediate invoke function expression. Basically, what will happen, right? Inside the immediate invoke function expression, whenever this index.js file is loaded or called, right, immediately what will happen? Whatever the code inside this particular function will be executed immediately. Okay, so usually the database connection with the pool is a synchronous operation. Why I'm saying like it is a synchronous operation? Let's consider there are 10 users connecting at a time. Then what it will do, we need to execute all the 10 connections at a time. For example, if you keep one person waiting and connection done, and he fetch the data, and again next connection done, and again he fetch the data. If we go it on that mode, right, your page will become a very slow. So to avoid that one, you need to use a asynchronous code. Asynchronous in the sense, what will happen, whenever you are writing asynchronous code, there is no non-blocking, there is no blocking, right? It is completely non-blocking. Non-blocking in the sense, one process will not wait for other process to finish. So all the processes will go and connect one by one, and not one by one, everything at a time, so that the CPU will allocate the resources for all the processes. Based on the processes, we will connect to the database at a time. So this is what the function. Basically, you need to write one callback kind of stuff, right? But it should be asynchronous. If you are aware of callbacks, promises, async await, you remember like in a very early stage of our sessions, we have discussed something about async await. So if you are writing a async, then you need to use a await inside here. Remember, you can write asynchronous functions without any await keyword, but you cannot write a await keyword without a asynchronous function. If you are writing await, definitely it should be asynchronous function. Okay. So what to await function will do? Basically, you need to connect it to the pool dot connect. Pool dot connect in this is a pool object, right? That's a database details with the dot connect method. Earlier, you remember client dot connect method we are using. Similarly, pool dot connect method we will use. So simply what I will do, I will just put a client, something like a const client equals to await pool dot connect. That means the pool connection was happened and it is waiting till the connection was done. This is only one time connection. I mean to say, like, whenever this index.js loaded, right? npm run start means what will happen? Node index.js. So immediately this function will be invoked, and whenever it was invoked, then immediately it will try to connect to the pool with all the parameters whatever you have mentioned. And once that is done, the client will be created. You can play with this client, but yeah, usually you can write a simple code. But what I will do, I will try to write a try catch blocks. Okay, so one is a try, next one is a catch of error. You remember when we are writing any in Node.js or JavaScript, basically try catch will do, and the another one is a finally block. Finally block will execute only when everything is happening, then finally block will execute. So whenever client got connected, you remember I told earlier in the just 2 minutes back, client dot end is the method we have used there. But here when you are using a connect method, you need to use a release. Release is a function which is used to release your client. Basically, lot of clients will connect at a time. So if you want to release them, then immediately you should use the client dot release. Okay, now go to the try block. Inside the try block, what you need to do, just create a rows. Basically, this is a rows which we will receive when we connect to the database. So by that time, I'm just writing one await function. Basically, it's one time async. Any number of times you can write await function. Await client dot query. Earlier you wrote the same kind of method. Okay, client dot query, but there it will take a like a multiple two parameters. Like one is a what it is called a one is a query and next one is a callback. That is what you wrote, right, just a few minutes back. See, one is a query part and next one is a callback method. But here it is not like that. What we will do, we are simply writing. See, this is simply a callback notation. We are not writing a callback notation. We are using async await. So simply what you can do, you can place your query here, select star from users. That is fine. Whenever the data comes up, right, from the data, the rows will be extracted here. The rows column will extracted here. Okay. After the rows, what we need to do? Something like I just put a console.log here. Okay. Whatever the rows are there, I will just try to display that rows. That's it. Nothing much. I don't want to do anything. But if there is any error, simply I will do something like a console.log of, okay, there is an error with the DB. That's it. Okay, something, whatever the error, I don't care. But if you want to display the error, you can just mention that error as well, so that it will print the error parameter, I mean error values. Const rows, in the sense it will display all the rows. That is what I'm expecting. But if you want more information, I mean, it is like I just want the same kind of data here. But let's see, it is a single connection, but it is a pool of connection. Pool of connections, in the sense multiple connections will be happen at a time. Okay, this is all the immediate invoke function expression. So directly it will execute whenever this page is loaded. Okay, now what I will do, I will just try to execute this one. It is connecting to DB. See, this is what the response we have received from the database. This is all about a connection to the pool. I mean to select connection to the what it is called, PostgreSQL. Okay, see, after some time that we have released the client, so that is the reason we see this prompt. If you just comment out this piece of code, right, this won't happen. It's keep on alive, and whatever the next queries are there, immediately next queries will be allocated. I mean, sorry, executed. Okay, we don't want such a stuff. We need to do this finally at the last. I mean, after everything is done, then you need to put the release method. Guys, please raise your questions if you have any. Meanwhile, I will just copy this code and I will just keep it here. Connection for a pool connection, right? Inside the pool connection, I just mentioned everything here. So now go to console. I will come here and okay, done. So you see, this is the connection for a pool and this is a connection for a single client. Okay, so it is your wish. I mean, basically, most of the applications we are using a pool connections because we need a multiple, what it is called, multiple connections at a time. So that is the reason people suggested to go with the pool connection only most of the times. Of course, it is depends on your client requirement. If they ask like, okay, not like this, not do like that, something like that, then see, it is an immediate reflection. Like once you change something here and then immediately go to your Node.js server, and here if you run, right, definitely the changes you can see here. This is all about a connection to the SQL database like a PostgreSQL. But I strongly suggest you go to these sites like W3 Schools and read this how to create the table, inside the table, fetch the data, add column, update column, alter column. Just read about few of the major stuff. Mainly create, read in the sense the select operation, whatever the select operation, it is a fetch data. Okay, read, update this one, and delete. Okay, just read about all this stuff. What we will do, we will write an end-to-end application. Okay, end-to-end application, in the sense I will give you some piece of code. Tomorrow what we will do, we will integrate this database connection, everything inside our application. You remember, like we already have another piece of code, right? There we are already finished our app.js layer, and then we connected our global what it is called, global middleware section is done, local middleware section is done, and then we went for handlers. I mean, it's like that is a routes, and from the routes we already had some piece of code for connection to the controllers. From the controllers we need to go for a service. Tomorrow we will create one service. Inside that service we will write some set of data, like how we can create these tables and all. I mean, we will go for a page admin and we will create some set of tables and users table and all. Now we will write one service call to connect to the database and bring all the users and send back that response to the user. I mean, so like from the postman, if you are writing, we need to show that. If you are aware of like Angular or React something, right, either Vue.js, then what you can do from the front end part side, just add some piece of code to call this API from the localhost, bring that data and populate that on the UI. I mean, so like you can write a simple table inside the table, you can loop over that and you can print all the users details there. Clear? Okay, any more
Hello.
questions? Yes, yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello, hear me?
Yes, yes, go ahead, Sandeep.
Here starting you are changing the full selection pool.
Okay.
So only for the one, there is a multiple database connecting, only for a single database.
It is only for one database. That's only the database, whatever you specified here, right? Only to that database you can do. You can't connect a multiple database at a time.
Okay. Only writing in the try block, only try block. In the try block, only for the one query is right. No, right that.
No. You can fetch any number of queries. That is fine. Currently, I have only used this table, so that is the reason I
Okay.
wrote the select star from table. Let's say inside the page admin, you have created another table. See, currently this table is having only one thing, right? One table. Okay. So one table. You can create another table. Go for a table and create something called a roles table. Okay. So we have a something different roles, and just add that what you need to do here inside the columns. You need to have a role ID and as well as user ID as well. So that what will happen, or you need to create some intermediate table like users underscore roles. There you need to insert all your user IDs and the role IDs. So that will bring the connection between these two tables, right? So let's say if you want to bring the fetch all the users along with their roles, just you need to write a join statement. Whenever you write a join statement, you can paste the join statement here, and immediately it will bring all the details from here.
So
It is
you're saying in the full selection, 1 DB, the multiple tables will be bringing.
right. You can write any number of tables. There is no such a
Okay.
limit. I will show you. As I mentioned, like previously, we are doing it this gift shop one. So if you go for a schemas public, under that, if you go for a tables, right? So there are 4 tables. See, gifts, orders, themes, and users. Currently we are not writing any complex statements to bring all the data, but if you want to implement a complex implementation like users with the roles for authentication, and if you want to write gifts and orders and themes, so if that is the case, definitely you will write some join statements, right? That join statements, not only single join statement, you can write any number of join statements. There is no issue. It is just a const rows one. That is how we put, right? Similarly, I can write another one. Okay. So in that cases, definitely you don't need to put a const here because already you declared one time. So you don't need to declare next time. Instead of this one, select, you can write it something called a roles here. Okay, it will bring the roles and it will put it here. People suggested to write something called let, so that you can write any number of things like let number. You can write it any number of queries. There is no such a issue, something like that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Veera, you're asking something.
No, sir. No. Actually, Node.js is required to learn the React.js.
No,
Is there any
Node
difference?
is different and React. See, if you want to go as a backend developer, definitely you need to know either Java or .NET or Node.js or something. If you want to go for a front end developer, you need to learn either Angular or React or Vue.js or something. But if you want to go as a full stack developer, either mean stack or a MERN stack or a full stack developer, definitely you need to know the front end, middle layer, and the back end. Okay, so in that case, at least you need to know like React in a front end and middle layer as a node and back end as a MongoDB or any database. See, this is a SQL query we are writing, right? So this is a completely structured query language, that is SQL. But still, we need to write one more example for a MongoDB connection. That is a NoSQL. You got my point, right?
Yeah.
Now, what I suggested you, just go with this connection with the client with the PostgreSQL. That is what we have explained. Now, your guys needs to do some homework like how we can connect to the MySQL. See, if you go here, right, there is a MySQL tutorial also there. This is also structured query language. Here also you can create a table and select the table details and bring all the data. Everything you can do. But some clients will use a PostgreSQL. Some clients will do the that is it training. Sorry. So some people will use a PostgreSQL, some people will use a MySQL, right? Some people may use a Oracle. So at least you need to have some idea. So for that purpose, what I suggested you, go for some YouTube or some other places and try to try to connect yourself how you can connect a MySQL with our Node.js.
Okay.
Okay. So tomorrow we will, as I mentioned, like I will go with the services part and I will write the services part this time. New window, file, open folder. B drive, training, project. Okay. So this is what we have already added something like a book slug, user, create book, get book, whatever the routes we have, right? So now what we will do, we will put that Postgre installation here. From here, we will put some data. I mean, it's like currently we are getting user route, right? Basically, what user route will do, it will go to there, get users list. Basically, get users list is the data. If you go here, see, From the controller layer we are sending back. No, from now onwards, what we will do, we will go to our database and we will bring all these three users and we will send back here. That means another layer is there, that is called a services layer. If you observe this one, up to control layer is done, DB layer is done. Now service layer you need to integrate. The same project we will use it for a NoSQL database like MongoDB or something. Similarly, you can modify few things for the REST services, because in the REST you don't have this connection and all. Only you will have expose the endpoints. With that endpoints, you can directly connect to the REST and you can bring the database and show the database.
Okay.
Okay. Out of all this, if you guys are trying for a MySQL database, then I want to go with that. But still, if you need some explanation on the MySQL database, please inform me before so that I will just try to do that connection as well. That is a one thing. And second thing is, apart of all this stuff, we need to learn few of the things called a socket IO. You remember in the starting days, I told like we do it to implement one chat application. So, for example, somebody is we need to create two kind of windows like this. So we need to do for chatting and all for this IO section we need to use, right? So I will go with one of these example as well. Uh, Just a minute, guys. Just hold on. I will definitely close the session in next 5 minutes. Just give me 1 minute, okay? I need to connect here. I need to go with few of the things and want a confirmation from you, like whether you are getting all the points or not. Please go with these notes. This notes is sufficient for you guys to learn a lot of things. But still, if you have any questions, please let me know. What is that? Funny sir, right? Okay, funny sir is there. Just a minute. Why? He's the one. Akash is the person who told me. I never went for these meetings. Even these people asked me to go there. But, didn't get a chance. One minute. There is something. One drive link is here. Somewhere I found it. Just a minute. Okay, this is the one I remember. Okay. If you go here, understanding full stack introduction to Node.js. I think this part is done. Node.js setup is done. NPM, you guys understood. Read evaluation print loop. If you want, I will explain you a little bit more about this one. We will write down some examples. You know what is a JSON and package.json. I think I have clearly explained you. Node inbuilt packages, already you saw that there are a lot of packages with it, like a file system, buffer, crypto. There are a lot of examples also we did. Please go ahead. File system with Node, that is done. Setup server with the Node, that is done. Create first API with HTTP. I think all this stuff is done, right? Next one, understanding Express, routing with Express. I think I am done. Basic introduction to MongoDB. Okay. Basically, we went with SQL database, but these people are going with the NoSQL database, MongoDB. Okay, understanding frontend with EJS, combining to build a full stack. Okay, taking databases live. I think you did this part, but MongoDB connection we will finish that one. And with EJS also, I will tell you this is actually not needed because in real time people won't really use this EJS. But just remind me, Veera or Divya, somebody remind me this one whenever we talk about a REST endpoint. Right? By the time I will connect, I will show you how this EJS will work. There is one application called a weather app. Yeah, this is the one. In this time, we can cover this EJS and all. So no worries. Deploy app in Heroku. I don't have really access for Heroku, but I will try to get that access. If I receive that access, it's an open source. I know, but you need to have some key generation and all. I mean, some company email we need to use, but I can't use that one. But I will try. If I get a chance, definitely I will try and show you on Heroku. Not only Heroku, there are a lot of other endpoint or open source servers are there. We can deploy anything, no issues. Call third party API with Node Weather API. Yeah, while using a REST endpoint, right? I will show you with how we can do this one. Catching with Node Redis is one of the kind of NoSQL database we can use. Convert Node for ES6, that's available. I think go with the ES6 first. Inside the ES6, we do have something called arrow functions, classes, REST spread operators, these kind of stuff. This is all JavaScript. Actually, to be frank, it is not Node.js. for a JavaScript, but converting our node to ES6 pattern, then you need to use a Babel. Okay, Babel is one kind of framework. We will talk about this thing. It won't much time. It is all a setup related stuff. That's it. Deep dive into MongoDB, local or cloud. Anyways, we will cover about this. Okay. Image upload with Node. Okay. REST API with Node. I think we have covered a little bit part about here. Complete CRUD operation. See, for now today, I just CRUD operation means create, read, update, and delete. Okay, so here it is a read statement is done. This means read. Reading means reading from the data from here. But what we need to do, we need to cover the remaining things like a create, update, and delete. Of course, you can write a simple queries. You don't need to worry about anything. Just go to here. For example, if I go to PostgreSQL, right? Instead of the PostgreSQL, see PostgreSQL delete from so on so on so. So that's it. Use this statement and put it inside there. That's it. Boom. Deletion is done. Okay, Swagger for endpoints. Okay, we will talk build backend API for e-commerce. This is the example for e-commerce, but yeah, if you want to build an application, I will give you some simple what it is called some homework kind of stuff, like add to cart. Similarly, go for a payment, get user details, something like that. Like you need to understand a few of the e-commerce backend. I mean, you need to know what is the e-commerce application. So that's it. Building dashboard with a node, yes, you can do that. Testing with a Mocha or Chai, okay. Taking a page live, I'm not sure whether you can do this or not because in the live, if you want to move again, you need to go for open source. Email with nodes and indicate, okay, fine. Login with the JWT, what to do. These are all simple. Payment gateway setup. Paytm, I'm really not sure whether we can do it or not because Paytm earlier we do have a open source endpoints, but currently Paytm is not allowing any of the open source. Even Paytm app itself is going to be closed in some days. I hope you guys are know about it. So GraphQL the people use instead of that I use a PostgreSQL. Okay, both will be the same. Like I mean to say like both are relation databases, so you don't need to worry. Deep learning about a GitHub. Do you really know need what is a GitHub is? So there are drop off. You guys really need what is a GitHub? I mean, how many of you are not aware of what is a GitHub and how to use it?
We know, but we are not using right now. But it is a like control version type. It is.
Yeah, version control. Simple. I mean, you guys can do that, but in my system, I cannot do. But if somebody can share your screens, I can guide you like how to push the code, how to pull the code. Or I will do one thing. I will create my temporary project and I will put it inside my company repository. The same thing you can do it for the open source. Basically, if I push that code to the open source, right, these HR people will throw me out. Otherwise, right, like there are some company policies. We should not push any code into the open source GitHub repositories. So instead of that, I will push it to my repository, like company repository. I can show that one. You guys can go ahead with open source GitHub and you can do that. Or else I will use some other one systems and I can do that. Chat app with a node. This is a given as a last. You remember this socket.io that just a few minutes back I had discussed, right? This is a chat dot application. Okay, revision, entry preparation, doubt section. Yes, don't keep this doubt section till the last day. Whatever you have a questions, please raise instantly so that it will be easy for us. Clear?
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Then, if you guys don't have any questions, we can drop off. Or if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Go ahead with that notes and try to implement my use.